Hello, beautiful people. How are all of you doing today? Hello! What's up? How do you do, chat? Ah! Natural sunlight. Kind of cloudy, too. How do you all do, chat? We are currently capped, so let's skip the preamble and get right into it. Agreed? Agreed. You still have a special place in my heart. Thank you for the 6 months, Sam the Stellaron Hunter. Wait, don't these guys have... No, they don't. Okay. Any Eep check? My Eep was not as good as yesterday, but it was alright. The Shalonen demo ruined my day. No spoilers. I haven't seen it yet. No spoilers. Please. No spoilers. Stop it. Why can't these be on the other fucking set, by the way? You gonna wear your glasses today? We'll see. We'll see if I need to read something important. Yeah, that means you're not important, chat, by the way, in case you couldn't tell. Ah! Also, Lud, I've already watched Buddy Daddies. What server are you playing on? I'm playing on the American server. Are we talking about One Piece? No. What is Buddy Daddies? It's an anime. It's about two professional assassins that end up accidentally adopting a daughter. It's Spy Family, but way better. I don't disagree. I don't think it's going for the same vibe as Spy Family, though. Like... That's cap, though. Spy Family goated. It's... Listen, you're allowed to like it. It's just not as good as Buddy Daddies. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be, you know? He's right, Buddy Daddy clears. Yeah, it does. You're not locking healing bonus? You think it's gonna be better than this? Oh, I see. That one isn't locked either. Yeah, but it's equipped, so it's fine. Okay, am I an idiot? What the fuck is going on here? How are you enjoying your new ChesseBurgers? It's nice to have her. I won't lie. I got in time before the CHIORI stuff. Yeah, CHIORI stuff is gonna be. I don't think CHIORI's Zajef is as important as the banner review, so I'll do it after if I still feel like streaming. I do hope I will though. I'd like for today to be a bit of a longer stream. What if I want to ask Zajef about the banner? What are you yapping about? Do you watch any Worlds? I haven't really watched any of the games yet, no. Don't these things have power resistance? No, that's the other domain. How good is Chaska based on leaked kits? We don't have any numbers. How the fuck are we supposed to know how good she is? That could be good. Maybe. That's kind of cope, but it's fine. I am kind of cope. Alright. That was dog shit. I don't think I have to do commissions today, though. Because I should have gotten commission points from yesterday's stuff. Yeah. Yesterday's questing. Hey, thank you for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Woohoo, Colin B. What an interesting raid message. How was your stream? Hey, you're joining just in time for the best part of the stream. Although, I've already done the mini yesterday with Nick on stream. So, there's not really much of a point to doing it. Wow, 15-second mini? That's crazy! Insane! I haven't done the rest, though. Um... Hmm. Zilch is a word? Yeah, zilch means like nothing. Nada. Zilch. I feel like it has to be something like this, no? Lore. Flower? Flower. Yeah. I'm the goat. I'm the goat. Let's do the connections. Jesus Christ. King Kong, whoop, beep beep, yahoo, ding dong, har har, coco, hoot, skirt, bubbles, dodo, purr, yuck, yo-yo, vroom, George. Why is there George? Dude, what is this connection, man? What the fuck? What? Yahoo! 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 Sorry. The fuck is Coco? Wait, is Coco the name of that fucking monkey that does numbers? Maybe it is. I feel like it is. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm like actually at a loss, honestly. What the fuck is this connection? Bro, what the fuck, man? Bro, what? I'm like... Okay. Ding dong. Okay, wait. Vroom. Maybe it's car sounds. What the fuck would the last one be? Cars don't purr, right? I don't know what the fuck har har is supposed to be. Maybe I'll try that. One away. Fuck. Fuck. What the fuck is a har har? Maybe it's supposed to be purr. I don't fucking know, man. It is! Nah. That's crazy. Hoot. Yahoo. Dude, what? What do I do? Ding dong? What the fuck is a yuck? Bro, what? What the fuck is a yuck? I still don't know what the fuck a har is. I don't fucking know. I don't really understand what the fuck all of these words are doing. I'm one away somehow. Ding dong and yuck things girls call me. That's fucked up. Remove a hoot for har. Why? Har is a happy sound. Is it? I'll believe you. You were wrong. So either it was neither of these two, or it's both of them and it's another one that's wrong. You're not gonna get it? Yeah, I'm probably not gonna get it. Do monkeys first? Okay, Bubbles and George sound like they could be nothing other than just the name of an animal. So it's probably this. Yeah. Yeah, they give it the 26 months. But what the fuck do I do with this? I know I had, what, hoot, whoop, yahoo, and yuck. What the fuck would be the connection between those? You'll scream when you find out the last category? I probably will. The last two are dumb, I believe you. I'm still guessing. I'm not sure. Because the first two weren't dumb. The first two were a lot less dumb. They were reasonable. What the fuck this? I don't know. Whoop hoot yahoo. Try taking out Yahoo? Why? Yuck, har har, whoop hoot. And what the fuck is the link between those? At this point, though, I think I give up. So, I'll just try it. What?! Yuck is a sound of laughter? What is the link between these? Knucklehead. I have never heard yo-yo used as an insult. Or even just as a way to refer to someone. What is this? What? Dude, I can't. I can't. What? Maybe I'm the yo-yo, chat. I think I'm the yo-yo here. That's fucked up. Okay. Okay. I mean, we take those. We take those. That's we take those. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. We take those. Are there even any other Claymore characters released between Nahida and Arlecchino that are not these elements? Because I was gonna guess a Claymore, and then if it wasn't a Claymore, I was gonna guess a bow. I mean, oh yeah, that's true. Well, I guess I just got lucky then. No, it's skill. It's skill. I'm just bubbling with energy. We'll make a formidable force in our next fight. Bubbling. Siegewin, no. Siegewin doesn't fight. Kokomi? True. Easy. Totally didn't cheat. Totally didn't get it revealed to me yesterday. That's fine. It was the only one that got revealed to me yesterday. That looks like... Ooh. There's a lot of abilities that look similar to that. It kind of looks like Bennett's E. It's not. Maybe Deluxe E? Yeah. Wave. Doctor? Is it Kokomi again? Is it Sijuin? Okay, it's Kokomi. I didn't know it was Kokomi again. Ooh, a character released recently. I don't know their names, so I'm just gonna fucking find them and click on them. Yeah, that one. Fuck, okay. Okay, well, I got the right version. I could probably figure this out. It might be Fei Xiao. No. It's Hunt. Is it March? Easy. Easy. I'm just the goat. I'm going to work really hard so I can save up and explore the stars just like grown-ups do. So it has to be a kid. Bailu is not a kid, kinda, but you wouldn't say that anyways. Clara? Is that something Clara would say? I don't think so. Clara doesn't really want to explore the stars. That doesn't really fit. Hook? I don't think Hook wants to explore either. Lynx? It could be Lynx. I'll keep her in the back of my mind. Misha? Misha makes sense. It is Misha. Nice. Huge. I thought Misha made sense because there's not a lot of characters that are both, like, childlike and have a job. Misha has that overlap. That's some sort of flower thingy. Is that a 3-petal flower or a 4-petal? It kind of looks like there's only supposed to be 3 petals. What the hell could that be? From some sort of plant? Oh. No, it's 4 petals. It's a weird shape. Okay. Ben. One day it's gonna be Ben. I'm gonna get it on the first ride. It's gonna be insane. And you're gonna be impressed. And it's gonna be like poggers. What's his name? Oh, I shouldn't have guessed that. Whatever. It's an assault attack. I don't know what the fuck the name is again. It could be whatever her name is. It's not. So what element is left? Physical? It's Nekomata then? Is there another physical? I don't think so. Wait, it could be Billy. Wait, how do I differentiate between Billy and Nekomata? Fuck, it could be either of them. Cause I don't know about weekly bosses and materials. So it's a 50-50. Oh no. Who is more pog between Billy and Nekomata? Billy for sure. Fuck! It was Nekomata. My bad. Honestly, I probably could have figured it out. I feel like it makes sense for Billy's boss material to be one that's available early in the story. And the early story is Belobog. Construction bullshit. Nekomata happens after. Wait, does it even? I don't know, whatever. Whatever. That's on me though. If I used forethought properly, I would have guessed either Billy or Nekomata here. Because there's only one attack with this element. So if I thought a little bit ahead, I would have guessed the one that has 2. And if it was the right element, it would have been the other one. And if it was the wrong element, it would have been Juyeon. So that was a skill issue. Please check the emote request. see what we got. That is horrible. What a dog shit about this is. Why did you make me look at this? Got caught trolling. And no. No, thank you. Catamo got rejected? I know, right? That's crazy. Insane. Alright. Another remote request. Eeping with home. No. I think we have too many cat emotes, honestly. Starting to run out of emote space, right? Yeah. Alright, chat. Actually, no, yeah, let's, before we get into video recording,
wow, what a beautiful gem. You should turn it into jewelry.
is that Kachina's voice?
We should check the grade first. But I can think of a better use for you. Truly a precious gem, and so damn simplistic. Could be wasted on a piece of jewelry. Looks like these Saurians don't miss a beat. Time for a test drive.
I can't. Bro, I tried so hard not to laugh. I tried so hard, okay? I can't. Dude, what the fuck is this song, man? What is this?
Got a few tricks on my sleeves, yeah. Others on my easily freeze, yeah. I'm gonna make sure don't no teaser. Straight, yeah, you should check a meter. I'll last sneak week or two when you got no idea what to do. I was on my mark, no time, no cues. Shining light for me, the stage is not for you. With every step I'm taking, every move I make, there's a trail, but I ain't never gonna be afraid. You know I'm wild like that, never can be tamed. Even all this big, watch me skate. Every step I take and every move I make, there's a trail, but I ain't never gonna be afraid. You know I'm wild like that, never can be tamed. Even all this big, watch me skate.
Wait, true. Okay. Resent, rubber, cement, camping, tent, economic, rent, periodic, event.
It took so long to dig up, and now the phlogiston is gone.
That's for the best. Better lost in the heat of battle than locked away in a jewelry box. Gems like these are meant to burn.
So much more, down the drain.
I need to. I need to. I need. Where's the post for it? Oh, we got drip marketing to look at, but not yet. Hmm. Hmm. Banger. Oh. Aware. Okay. Do I even need to say anything? This is probably the worst character trailer I've ever seen. It's really bad. This was awful. The later half was a little bit less bad than the first half. The first half musically was completely terrible. At least the second half was like an actual song. It wasn't a very good song, but it was an actual song, so like at least there's that. But yeah, no, I am not impressed at all. Anyways, now we can look at the drip marketing. We have Chaska and Auron. So I'm guessing these are quotes about her, yeah. There's no hope for the child. You know I can't accept that either, but please just give up. This was the first conflict that Chaska experienced in her life. Just what's wrong with this kid? Was she raided by a Cucosaurus or something? No wonder, she's so wild. This was one of the countless conflicts that Chaska faced after returning to the Flower Feather clan. Though her childhood memories were already blurry, Chaska still remembered the emotions stirring beneath these words. Disappointment, pain, bitterness, and frustration. People were caught in a web of emotion, forever entangled in conflict. Conflicts can eventually be resolved. All it takes is a turning point. A Cucosaur, soaring high up in the sky, just so happened to catch sight of the helpless child crying piteously for food down below. At least give me a heads up next time. A young girl, after practically having searched the length and breadth of the mountain, puffed with anger after finding her runaway sister. Perhaps many conflicts weren't as deeply rooted or as difficult to transcend as people imagined. Gear packed and bullets loaded, Chaska, who is now a fully fledged peacemaker, stepped through the door to embrace the morning breeze. This time, it's my turn to resolve some conflicts. Lowering the brim of her hat, she smiled to herself. I thought that was for my give us a heads up. Why? I was just reading. I was giving a dynamic reading of the text. This says, so I had to do it. Like it's not. I was just reading. Hello, ma'am. I was just discussing how to help abolish the wage gap when you showed up. Haha. It sure is hard It sure is hard work being an advocate for women. 6-1, by the way. Good one. We have come to a full and thorough understanding of the folly and recklessness of our recent actions, and agree to set aside our differences and move forward as one. This statement has been drafted entirely of our own free will, with no objections whatsoever. Additionally, we would like to thank the Peacemaker for her outstanding contribution with respect to facilitating this reconciliation. A heartfelt joint statement of reconciliation made by a pair of chiefs after an intertribal conflict. So basically, she threatens people into getting along, right? That's what this is. That's what this is saying. This is almost a perfect post, by the way. Like, if this shouldn't be here. This should be implied from the tone in here, and like literally writing it down that it's not actually really heartfelt. To me, takes away from the quality of this post as effective marketing. I think it's kind of a waste. Like, some of it should remain as subtext. But I think it's cool. It's cool that they're doing it this way, nonetheless. Although, to be fair, if they expected their player base to be able to see through obvious corporate messaging, they wouldn't have had Dawei cry on stage like that. So, I guess it's in character for them, for sure. Oron, Shadow of the Night Wind. Shrouded Bat of Mictlan. One scorchingly hot afternoon, a young man closed his front door behind him, then turned to say goodbye to the seedlings in his yard. Good afternoon. Just heading out for a bit. Hope you guys grow a bit greener by the time I'm back. You got this. He returned with a friend not long after, offering a kindly heads up as they walked past the large tree by the entrance. Big pine cone's roots have gotten a bit out of hand lately, so be careful not to trip. Natlan is a weird and wonderful land, and the good Dr. Aoife, having grown up here, was no stranger to Oron's odd way of speaking. He remembered that, long ago, an alpaca named Little Pinecone had bumped into that same tree, which might explain why Oron referred to it as Big Pinecone. And it's not even a pine tree, thought Aoife, though he didn't inquire further. A weird and wonderful land indeed. It is a nation that it embraces all living beings, whether their paths in life have been smooth or not so smooth. All things have their cause, give rise to their effects, and, in the end, serve their purpose. The flawed, the sly, the stubborn, all shall burn, flowing together as brilliant, vibrant soul fire. Chat, what do you guys think is more white? This or this? What element is he, by the way? I mean, I guess we're gonna find out. Electro. I see. It's on the picture? Is it? It's supposed to be here, but he's in front of it. Whatever. Anyways, not even the most intransigent... How do you pronounce that word? Intransigent? It's the first time I've said it out loud. Intransigent? Okay. Not even the most intransigent of patients can come close to matching his stubbornness. Once he's made his mind up, it's almost impossible to change it. I don't worry about him, though. He has his own way of thinking, and I'm sure he'll manage just fine, no matter what this crazy world throws at him. Casually muttered by Aoife as he jotted down a medical report. Is Aoife his boyfriend? I'm guessing Aoife's his boss. Or dad. Or something. He's someone in a position of authority over him. Gage? Oh, maybe he's his top. Who knows? That's possible as well. Some form of position of authority, okay? I don't know which one. Listen, maybe. Perhaps. Alright, chat. It's time. Say hi to YouTube. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. Hi. To the banner review for patch 5.1 first half. We have Shilonen coming out, and we have a CHIORI rerun at the same time. And they're running with Dory, Candace, and Cole. When it comes to the weapon banner, we have Shilonen's new signature weapon, Peak Patrol Song, CHIORI's signature, and then we actually have two new 4-star weapons that we'll have to talk about. Running with Sacrificial Greatsword, Vonius Warbow, and Rust. So, let's start by talking about Shilonen. Shilonen is overall a pretty good character. She's a sort of character that is very, very versatile. She's... Sorry, did I say Warbow? I meant Codex. Yeah, my bad. Editors, you can fix that, right? Anyways. Shilonen is the sort of character that is very much designed to be a generalist support. She's not meant to be a hyper-specific support. Like a lot of the supports that we've seen recently. Not all of them, but both for 4 stars and 5 stars. Lately, we've had a lot more supports that are very specific. Even if they're not damage buffers, like off-field characters, right? You've had characters like Emily, characters like Xianyun, Chevreuse, that aren't really meant to be characters you can slot into any team, and that have like a specific restriction or something similar to that prevents them from being that versatile. Shilonen is very different from that. She's a character that is going to fit in a lot of different teams, and she is actually pretty good in a lot of these teams. If you want to know more about my thoughts on Shilonen, you can always go check out the pre-release. But for those of you that didn't catch it, or that just want a quick little refresher, in terms of the amount of damage that the team is doing, right, in terms of buffs that she's providing, she's very similar to Kazuha. Kazuha offers the ability to use VV and an Ascension passives that gives you what is it, 0.04? I think it's 0.04. Yeah. An Ascension passive that gives you 0.04 of his EM as damage bonus. 0.04% of his EM as damage bonus. And usually he's anywhere between 800 and 1,000 EM. So it's usually hovering around somewhere between 30 and 40 damage percent. If you're putting him on a... If you're putting him on an ER weapon or ER sense, you're generally going to be closer to 30. And if you're putting him on EM weapon and like everything EM, just maximizing his EM, he's going to be potentially a little bit above 40, but around 40, more or less. Shilonen, unlike Kazuha, offers resistance shred directly in her kit. So Kazuha offers damage percent in his kit and res shred with his artifact set. With Shilonen, it's the other way around. She offers res shred in her kit. At talent level 10 on her skill, the res shred is 36%. And her artifact set that she can use, the Cinder City, is going to give you 40% damage percent. So instead of 40% shred and between 30 and 40 damage percent, it's between 30 and 40 shred and 40% damage percent. In terms of just actual buffs they're providing to the team, they're very similar, both in terms of the nature of their buff and their quantity. And so, because of that, you're going to see a lot of comparison between the two of them. The main things to keep in mind is, one, they're two different units. And that sounds like an obvious thing if you just say it out loud, but it's specifically relevant because Genshin Impact is a game where in the like end game content, you have to use two different teams. And so having two different units that do something similar won't necessarily be a bad thing. Because you might need them on both teams. Or you might want to put both of them on the same team. Or she's Geo, which means she's going to be useful in different seasons of Imaginarium Theater, right? So there's that. That's relatively important to keep in mind. But outside of that, there's also the fact that, just speaking like when I'm writing a thesis, I'm feeling a little better today. I've been feeling better like lately, so it's easier for me to be enthusiastic when I'm yapping. But yeah, so it is what was I saying? Fuck. Right. The fact that there are two different units also means that it's possible you don't have Kazuha. And if you don't have Kazuha and you want to get a unit that fulfills a similar role, you can go for Shilonen. That being said, outside of that, I also want to very quickly mention the main differences between Kazuha and Shilonen, right? In terms of what they're providing to the team in terms of buffs, they're pretty much the same. But that doesn't mean they're the same unit. Shilonen's upsides are that her resistance shred and her damage buff last for a longer duration than Kazuha's buffs, which is very significant. A higher duration buff is huge. That's the first upside that Shilonen has over Kazuha. The second upside that Shilonen has over Kazuha is that she doesn't need specific setups to shred resistances. She still needs to get crystallize of a specific element in order to buff that element's damage with the Cinder City artifact set, but you're not conditional on a specific setup in order to get the resistance shred at the very least. So, for example, if you're playing her in a team like Hu Tao, Shilonen, Double Hydro, when you're doing that with a unit like Kazuha instead, you just give up on getting buffs on Pyro. But with Shilonen, you'll be able to still get at least the resistance shred for your pyro damage, even if you're not able to get the damage percent bonus. That's the second big upside. And the third big upside, and I guess final one, is that she can provide healing with her burst. The healing doesn't apply in teams that have 3 or more Geo units, but those teams are ass anyway, so don't play them. But yeah, she can provide healing with her burst, which enables Farina more easily. That being said, she doesn't just have upsides, right? Those are the upsides. She also has downsides when you compare her to Kazuha. The biggest 2 downsides are, 1, she doesn't have any grouping, and 2, she doesn't have any damage. Kazuha's personal damage isn't something that is necessarily going to be that high, but there are quite a few teams that actually care about Kazuha's personal damage a good amount. I guess one of the most obvious ones is aggravate Kazuha teams, where Kazuha's burst serves as a very, very good way of getting better AoE damage, especially because so many of these aggravate teams get carried by Fischl, who's pretty much exclusively single target. Having Kazuha to help you in AoE situations when it comes to AoE damage is actually a pretty huge deal for those aggravate teams. Any other teams where you're going to trigger chain reactions, Kazuha's going to end up doing more damage. But even if you're not triggering chain reactions, Kazuha's still doing more damage than Shilonen is. Shilonen's damage is pretty pitiful. It's not very good. So, you'll end up weighing the pros and the cons of Shilonen's buffs while being the same amount, generally being easier to work with and more valuable, versus Kazuha having things outside of buffs that can also make him strong in specific situations. Overall, I don't think I'd say that Shilonen is a better unit than Kazuha. But she's definitely good enough to have a place in the meta. So she's a sort of unit that you definitely can justify going for. I don't think she's necessary because you only need so many units to make 2 strong teams. And units that have a lot of overlap, like Kazuha and Shilonen, can end up being redundant in your team building, depending on which teams you play. But if you want to play her in a team, you're unlikely to regret going for her. Anyways, like I said, if you want to know more about my thoughts on Shilonen, you can go check out the pre-release analysis. that is on the channel already. Now, let's talk about CHIORI. CHIORI is a character that exists. It's definitely a character of all time. CHIORI is a character that gets a, I think, bad reputation that she doesn't necessarily deserve. I think CHIORI is a lot better than people give her credit for. I don't think CHIORI is necessarily good, but she's also not bad. She's a unit that because of Zhongli's existence, and I guess now Shilonen as well to some extent, and because Georesonance is so strong, and Zhongli is a unit that is relatively often just flexed into a team because you want some defensive utility, and with Shilonen's release, Shilonen will be a unit that you can just flex into a team for fun. Although I guess with Shilonen, it's not really. Yeah, no. Forget the Shilonen part. Let's try this again. Yeah. CHIORI is a unit that, because of Zhongli's existence, can see a lot of play as a flex slot. Zhongli is a unit that is very, very versatile, that you can put in pretty much any team if you want defensive utility. Any team that doesn't like need all 4 of their slots for a specific thing can make use of Zhongli if you want him and you want defensive utility. And Georesonance being as strong as it is, and CHIORI having pretty good off-field damage that isn't reliant on team buffs other than getting that Georesonance and having some form of Geoconstruct, means that the Zhongli CHIORI double unit flex core is a nice thing you can add to characters that aren't necessarily in need of a strong, or in need of like a specific elemental application or buffers in their teams. So I guess an example of that is something like Arlecchino, Bennett, CHIORI, Zhongli. Is actually a pretty good Arlecchino team. It's not one of my favorites, but like it works out. And CHIORI is a unit that can very easily be used in a lot of teams in that way. She's very versatile in terms of just the amount of teams you can flex her into. But I wouldn't say that she's necessarily the best option in any of them. Unlike Albedo, who has his fair share of issues and honestly has lost a lot of value over the years, CHIORI justifies her presence a little bit better. A little bit more easily. He had value, yeah. Albedo used to be relatively valuable because your character roster was very, very limited back in the day. And just having a unit that you can put as a flex slot used to be a lot more valuable than it is now. And so he didn't need to be that good to have value as a flex slot. CHIORI is a product of her time. She was released a lot later than Albedo, and you already had a lot more options for teams. So re-releasing Albedo in 2023 or early 2024, I don't know when she came out. These days, would have made him a lot less valuable than he was on his initial release. And so a character similar to Albedo needed to be a bit stronger, and she was a bit stronger. At the end of the day, CHIORI is not a character that I would really recommend going for to strengthen your account. Unless, like, strengthen your account whether or not you like her. No, that's not a good way to phrase it. She's not a unit that I would recommend to anyone who wants to strengthen their account, but she is strong enough that if you like her, you're not going to feel like you're playing a worthless unit if you go for her. Yeah. And so that's pretty much it for the 5 stars on this banner. Let's talk about the 4 stars now. We have Dory, Candace, and Cole. This is kind of awful for most people. But it also isn't. Personally, I'm really happy with this because I've played for a very, very long time, and I play pretty much every day, and so a lot of the 4 stars I already have at C6. So a 4 star on a banner just being one that I don't have at C6, whether they're good or not, is generally something that makes me happy. And I don't have Cole or Dory at C6. That's 2 out of 3. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. However, these are definitely units of all time. I would actually say that as of October 2024, the best of these 3 units is probably Candace. Which is kind of crazy for me to say. If you look at each of the units on their release, it's definitely Cole. But as of 2024, October 2024, I would actually lean towards Candace instead. So let's talk. Let's talk about why. Let's start with Candace. Candace is a unit that really doesn't offer much. She offers Hydro Infusion, which is pretty fucking worthless on almost anyone. Characters that could scale with Hydro damage properly generally don't want to waste a slot on a unit that only does that. The reason why Bennett's Pyro Infusion is useful for some characters that aren't necessarily Pyro if you want to build them for Pyro damage is because he consolidated his role of giving the infusion, but with also giving the biggest attack buff in the game. Right? There's a reason Bennett C6 sees plays in teams to infuse Pyro, but Chongyun barely does. And it's a similar issue with Candace, who pretty much only offers that, as well as a small damage bonus, a small damage buff. Of upwards of around 40%. It's not that small of a buff, but it's just that's all she does. It's not enough. It's not over 1,000 attack like Bennett. However, lately we've had some characters that have gotten released that have a lack of synergistic teammates. And the lack of synergistic teammates means that if you have teammates that synergize well, the bar becomes lower. They don't have to be as good. And so, Milani being a Hydro character that gives a damage buff that's not completely insignificant to normal attacks makes her an actual good option in Milani teams as a way to get a faster Hydro Swirl setup for the VV Milani teams, and just a unit that isn't completely worthless as the last slot. Candace is actually used in a lot of the speedrun Milani teams that use VV. And as much as I'm personally not that big of a fan of the VV Milani teams, if I am to play VV Milani, it's going to be with Candace. Pretty much any time. And then on top of that, you have something somewhat similar with Arlecchino. With Arlecchino's C6. Or sorry, with Candace's C6. Giving her just enough Hydro application to consistently vape Arlecchino's attacks. But in AoE. Which is something that the good Hydro units that you would usually use in the slot, Xingqiu and Yelan, can't do. They don't have consistent AoE Hydro app. Xingqiu has a little bit of Hydro app, but it's too close. It's too... The AoE of it, the range of it, is too small for it to be reliable in AoE. Whereas Candace's range is bigger, and the AoE is located in front of you instead of around you, which all in all makes it a lot easier for you to maintain your vapes in AoE situations. Because of these two units, because of Milani and Arlecchino, Candace is now a unit that is part of some of the best speedrun teams for some of the great meta units. But she's also good in general in their teams. She's not limited to speedruns like something like LG Amber used to be in Hu Tao teams. She's just straight up a good unit for those teams. And because of that, despite her being overall pretty weak and not offering that much, that really strong synergy is enough to make her, in my opinion now, not that bad. I think it is important to remember, though, that with Arlecchino, she only works if she's C6. Even a C5 Candace is completely worthless for Arlecchino. With Milani, the C6 isn't necessary, although personally, I think the C6 makes things a bit easier. Depends on your setup. There's a few caveats to it, but generally, I would still lean towards the C6 being pretty important in those teams. But yeah, when it comes to her constellations, C6 can mess up some setups. Yeah, I mean, C6 makes you apply more Hydro, so you have to, you know, change your setup accordingly. But if you're changing your setup accordingly, that's fine. Just like not having C6 makes you apply less Hydro, which means you have to change your setup accordingly. Anyways, when it comes to her constellations, honestly, none of them matter other than C6. Like, technically, C1 giving you increased duration is nice for Milani, but it's not that big of a deal. Then pretty much the rest of the constellations is worthless. And then C6 is pretty good. I haven't mentioned Nilo teams. Candace is also usable in Nilo teams, especially if you're using Yao Yao as your healer. But yeah, so there's also the Nilo teams. Yeah, all in all, Candace is a unit that definitely aged well. So that's pretty good. Why Yao Yao? Because if you're playing Yao Yao Candace, you can swap between them. And it's nice having Hydro App from Candace on Yao Yao while you're ulting. And Yao Yao, unlike Baiju, has so much fucking healing that even if you build her full EM, she'll still full heal you. Alright. Next up, we can talk about Dory. Dory, like Candace, has a C6 that is very relevant. Unlike Candace, Dory doesn't have a single team where she's usable before C6. Candace is still usable in Molani and to some extent in Nilo teams, even if she's not C6. Even if she doesn't work with Arlecchino before C6. Dory, on the other hand, is pretty worthless before C6. She's not, like, completely unusable. You can still use her. She can still function as an electro healer in teams where that's what you need. But she's just not good at it, and she's pretty much never at it than Kuki is. However, her C6 gives her Electro Infusion on normal attacks, and just as, if not more importantly, healing on doing normal attacks. Team-wide healing on doing normal attacks. The amount of healing on this is high. It's a lot of healing. That means that she can become an Electro driver in Farina teams, even without having to be built for full healing, while still providing enough healing for Farina. And so you can build her full damage in a Quick Bloom team with Farina. Her best team is probably Dory, Fischl, Nahida, Farina. And it's actually a pretty good team. Is it good enough to justify, like, trying to go for her C6 just to play that? Probably not. But it is definitely good enough to warrant her being considered as a fine unit if you have her at C6. I think before C6, she's pretty worthless. Her constellations aren't, like, completely useless, but she's so bad at C0 that the difference between C0 and C5 just doesn't matter. She's still bad at C5. But yeah. And then finally, we have Cole. Cole is a unit that I find to be very frustrating to play. Her animations, her animation on her skill is pretty long, and you can't dash cancel or jump cancel it, and it doesn't have iframes, which makes her feel very clunky to me. And then on top of that, the vertical hitbox of her skill is incredibly thin, so enemies can duck under them if they get knocked down, or jump over them very easily. On top of also having weird horizontal tracking that can potentially make them go around the enemy on the way out and on the way back. Basically, there's a lot of ways her skill can miss, and that's very annoying. Her ult also has similar tracking to Diona's ult, where it will aim towards the middle of the enemy, but if the enemy's jumping, it'll aim, like, it'll lock onto the point where they are when you cast it, and if it falls down, it'll just fucking go over them and run away, basically. That's not as bad. That's a lot easier to deal with and a lot easier to work around, but it is another thing to mention. Her AoE is pretty small. She's got some practical issues, let's say. Wait, I have C5? I thought I was at C3. Huh. Okay, well that's nice. That being said, she does have decent off-field Dendro application that is not limited by her energy generation. And if you put her on Sacrificial Bow, flexible rotations that can adapt to short enemy uptime very well. In a lot of teams, that doesn't really matter because it's not better than Nahida. But there are some teams where you can play her with Nahida, or where Nahida doesn't do that much. Mainly for teams where you're playing her with Nahida, you'd think of Nilo teams. And in Nilo teams with Sac Bow, Kole tends to be a favorable option, especially for enemies that offer very short uptime windows, like I remember the first or second time we got the Winudden Abyss, Kole Kokomi was a very popular way to fill out the Nilo team if you wanted to play it against Winut. I still don't recommend playing Nilo against Winut, but if you really want to do it, Kole is probably your best bet. But yeah, overall, despite my issues with her gameplay practically, she does have her uses. Relevant constellations are, I guess, C2. The C2... Wait. Yeah. C2 and C6 give her more application, and C4 gives her a small EM buff. For relearning Kole. It's been a long time since I read anything about Kole, but yeah. C4 gives her a small team-wide EM buff, which is nice. Half an instructor, yeah. So it's alright. When it comes to evaluating the banner as a whole, like I said at the start of the video, I'm very happy with this banner. I'm likely to get my C6 on Kole and hopefully build some constellations on Dory, which I want to get at C6 at some point. But I don't think it's a good banner. I think there's not a lot of teams where you're going to want to play Candace with either Shalonen or CHIORI. It's worth a consideration, I guess, both in Arlecchino and Milani teams to use Shalonen and Candace. But, meh. Kole, unless you don't have Nahida, I don't really see Kole getting too much play in teams that have Shalonen. And when it comes to Dory, I don't think you really ever want to play her outside of Quick Bloom, so I don't think she works too well with Shalonen. And then neither of the three works with CHIORI very well. So I think the banner doesn't really make a lot of... the banner's not characters that are particularly synergistic with one another. And the 4 stars are very situational. So I don't think they're that valuable either if you're looking for strong 4 stars. So it's a pretty bad banner. I think Shilonen being a relatively strong unit is enough to make the banner still worth considering. Personally, I'm gonna pull for Shilonen. I do think this is an incredibly unlucky 4-star lineup, though. So that's definitely unfortunate. Next up, we can talk about the weapons. So, first we can quickly talk about Shilonen's signature. The Peak Patrol Song. It's a low base attack, high defense percent weapon that gives you 8% defense and 10% all damage bonus twice. So 16% defense, 20% damage bonus, and a team-wide damage percent buff of up to 25.6% based on your defense. On Shilonen, this is effectively just a weapon that gives you 25.6 damage percent to your team. As a support weapon, it's alright. It's a pretty average support weapon. It's going to be relatively good on Shilonen. In teams where you're not reliant on Fav putting in some work. It is important to remember that if you are reliant on Fav putting in work, this will increase your ER requirements compared to Fav on the rest of your team. So the actual damage that you're gaining is going to be a bit lower than you'd expect. But it should still be fine. Her ER requirements aren't that high. Shilonen's ER requirements aren't that high. Even when she's not on Fav, so it's still doable to reach her ER requirements without Fav. This weapon can also be used on the other defense scaling characters, so Albedo and CHIORI. And it's honestly probably a pretty good option for them. It's going to be lower personal damage than CHIORI's signature. But the team damage should be higher. But yeah, all in all, it's just a pretty solid option for Shilonen and a very reasonable option for Albedo or CHIORI. But it's not that good on the other characters. It's a fine support option on any character that doesn't really scale with any stats and could use some damage bonus. But usually they already have good options, so it doesn't really... It's not really a weapon that I'd recommend getting as a generic support weapon. In the same way that I could recommend Elegy. Another thing that I think is very important to mention is that because Shilonen doesn't actually get much out of getting more defense, And again, go check out the pre-release if you want to know more about this. But Shilonen doesn't actually get much out of increasing her defense because her damage is pretty worthless. So the only thing you're really increasing by getting more defense is her healing, which is already fine enough to begin with. So it's not like you really need to min-max your defense that much. And what that means is that you can go for a weapon that doesn't have a defense substat. And it makes it so that Freedom Sworn is actually a pretty good option on Shilonen. It is very often either a little bit behind or even sometimes a little bit ahead of her signature. Freedom Sworn needs you to book? Wait, what? You just use skill and then you use burst. Why would you need to book? I'm confused. You have to burst? I mean, bursting is your source of healing. I guess it's fair that you don't burst in every team, sure. Okay. But like, you still can. Like, it's not whatever. I guess I'll quickly mention. Freedom Sworn is always a reasonable replacement for her signature. If I had both of them and I could choose between the two of them, I'd still lean towards a signature. But if you already have Freedom Sworn, getting Peak Patrol Song is a little questionable in my opinion. And if you were to choose between getting Peak Patrol Song or Freedom Sworn, I'd say that Freedom Sworn being good on Kazuha makes it probably versatile enough that I'd lean towards it. Anyways, next, we can talk about CHIORI's signature. Normal attack damage increased, skill damage increased. If you deal geo damage, effect gets doubled, and defense increase. This is a good stat stick for CHIORI or Albedo. There's not much else to say about it. It's a bit more relevant on CHIORI than it is on Albedo. Because Albedo has much better synergy with Cinnabar Spindle. But yeah. It's also a fine, just generic stat stick on other characters, but it's not all that impressive. It's just a 5-star stat stick. Then we have the 4-star weapons. Let's start with the ones we already know. Rust is, well, it's been in the fucking garage long enough to pick up Rust. It's bad. No one likes Rust. Rust is a good weapon on Yoimiya, but it's not really necessary because so is Slingshot. In most Yoimiya teams that people actually play, Slingshot is very similar, sometimes even slightly better than Rust. And so Rust is not something you're too happy with. If you have an R5 Rust, I'm not telling you not to use it. It's very possible that it's better. It's going to depend on your team. But it's definitely not something you're too happy to see on a banner for even for Yoimiya, who's the character who synergizes with Rust the best. And it's not good on Child. Stop it. It's not 2021 anymore. Stop it. Stop lying to yourself. Anyways, Favonius Codex is a lot better. Favonius Codex is an option that can be worth considering on a decent amount of support characters. The biggest obstacle to Favonius Codex compared to other Favonius weapons is that if you're playing it on a character that doesn't care that much about their personal damage, TDDS exists. And so there's quite a few teams that would rather run TDDS and increase the buffs they're giving to the rest of the team over the particles from Fav. So the characters on which you can consider Fav are Lisa, because her requirements are fucking insanely high. Mona, because her ER requirements are so high that sometimes it's hard to reach them with TDDS. But if you can reach them with TDDS, you'd rather use TDDS. Heizo, Nahida, Baiju, and Charlotte. And I guess Xianyun as well. That being said, a lot of these characters have viable alternatives. So it's not like you really need Fav Codex that much. Finally, Sacrificial Greatsword. There's a lot less characters that are Claymores that care about Sac, or Fav for that matter. Because there's not that many support characters that are both Claymores and good. Beto is not really much of a fan of Sac Greatsword. Xinyan is... No, I mean, she's not very good. There's not much of a reason to play Sac Greatsword on Sayu over Fav unless you're playing her on field. But on field, Sayu's kind of a meme. Not much of a reason to play Sac Greatsword over Fav on Dory if you're playing Dory in her like default just healer. And if you're playing Dory as a driver on field for at C6 with Farina, you'd rather have her on a weapon that increases the team damage. Or sorry, that increases her damage. Yeah. That being said, there are two characters that can actually make use of Sac. So Dea and Navia. Dea, if you put her on Sac, you give yourself the ability to do shorter rotations with her. Which matters a lot in both Kanich and Molani teams if you want to play Daya with them. Both of them can be played in teams that have rotations that are less than 20 seconds, but Daya's skill cooldown being 20 seconds can be an obstacle to that. So having Sacrificial Greatsword to effectively just reduce your skill cooldown by 3 or 4 seconds is a good way to increase your team DPS. There's others, that was not an exhaustive list. You can also play it with like Lenny or like Ganyu, but those are the main two. And then Sacrificial Greatsword is just a decent option for Navia. If you don't have other good options for her. That being said, I think that Earthshaker has made it a little bit less useful. One of the reasons why Sag Greatsword was a good option for Navia is because Navia did not have a very good craftable option. She did have a pretty solid free-to-play option in the Melusine sword, but that was an event weapon, so not everyone has it. And so Sac Greatsword used to be a very nice option for those that didn't have great options. Tidal Shadow was reliant on getting healing, and if you're using Bennett, you don't heal unless you get hit, which is not ideal. Unless it's Farina Bennett, sure. Unless it's Farina Bennett. But yeah, so Earthshaker's release has phased out Sag Greatsword as a Navia option a little bit. It's still a good Navia option. Like, it's still very, very usable. But she has more options now, which reduces Sag Greatsword's value when it comes to Navia. Finally, we have the two new upcoming weapons, so we're going to get into both of them now. I think as of recording this is still leakers, but by the time this video gets posted, it's not going to be leakers anymore. We have the Sturdy Bone and the Mountain Bracing Bolt. Sturdy Bone, high base attack, attack percent substats. It's already posted? Alright, Pog. Sprint or alternate sprint stamina consumption decreased by 15%. This is completely worthless. Additionally, after using sprint or alternate sprint, normal attack damage is increased by 16% of attack. This effect expires after triggering 18 times or 7 seconds. At R5, it's 32% of attack. This is a fine stat stick when it comes to swords. Overall, you'll want to use this on characters that have shitty motion value. It'll probably be pretty good on Ayato. Ayato doesn't really have good craftable options right now, so that's nice. But as a like banner weapon, like as a weapon banner exclusive weapon, it's pretty bad. It's definitely not something you're actively want to see on a weapon banner. Between this and Fav, it's not even a question. And next up, we have the Mountain Bracing Bolt. High base attack, ER substat. Decreases climbing stamina consumption by 15%. It increases skill damage by 12%. Also, after other nearby party members use elemental skill, The equipping character with elemental skill damage will also increase by 12%. So it's 24% at R5. It's 48% skill damage. It's probably supposed to be a weapon for Emily, I guess. It's all right, but yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not really something you're. Yeah. Honestly, neither of them are that good. There is another weapon that's coming out this patch. Another 4-star weapon that's coming out this patch is going to be coming out on the second half for the banners, which is the Claymore, the Fruitful Hook. This is pretty much the only good one out of the 3 new weapons, but it's not on this banner, so we'll talk about it in the next banner review. So, the sword is not great. The polearm is not great. Sack Greatsword is not great. Rust is not great. And Fav Codex is pretty good. Overall, the 4-star lineup for this weapon banner is honestly disappointing. It's not particularly good. Not too happy with it. Not a fan. The 5 stars. Uraku Misugiri is a pretty solid, just general stat stick, and it's often a little bit better than the other 5-star stat sticks on a few characters. On any character that uses the passives somehow. It's like pretty solid as a stat stick, but it's not like outstanding. I'd say if you're looking at this banner, you want to get Peak Patrol Song for Chilonen. Uraku Misugiri being the other one on the banner is fine. But you're not going to want to use that on Chilonen, unless you're playing carry Chilonen, which you shouldn't do. If you're looking at CHIORI Signature, and that's what you want to get, Peak Patrol Song is honestly... It's probably fine to lose your 50-50 to. If you end up getting both, I don't think you'll really find much of a use for Peak Patrol Song. Unless you also get Chilonen. But if you end up not having enough to go all the way, getting Peak Patrol Song, you can use that weapon on CHIORI still. So it's not a complete loss. I'd say the 5-star lineup is not particularly high quality, but it's high synergy. I think the CHIORI Signature being relatively versatile and the Chilonen Signature being a decent option on CHIORI means that either way, when it comes to the 5-star, you're not that likely to get completely shafted. But the 4 stars are pretty ass, and I still don't think the 5 stars are that great. I'd say this is a maybe slightly below average banner when it comes to weapons. And like I said earlier, this is a unfortunate banner for Chilonen. But Chilonen is probably good enough to make the banner average, if not slightly better than average. In any case, that's going to be it for the banner review. I hope you learned a thing or two. I hope you appreciated my input. Let me know if you're going for anything. If you're going for Shallonen, CHIORI, Weapon Banner, or any of these characters, and let me know why in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, YouTube. Alright! We're done recording. Are we gonna do Azadef CHIORI today? I don't think so. Let editors know? Yeah, I'll do that. Recorded banner review. Alright, chat. Let's do an Abyss run, but what do we play? I kind of want to play... this. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Gotta check that my builds are not ass, though. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'll probably get away with this pretty easily. Probably want her on 5. Yeah. That's fine. Now let's heal up a little. What build is Raiden using this team? You're probably supposed to do TOM, but she's on flop. You're probably supposed to do fully MTOM. I missed both of my E's. That is fucked up. It's so Jover, by the way. That's fucking unfortunate as well. Farazan, are you gonna fucking hit him or what? I don't want to burst, man. Ah, whatever. Okay. What is wrong with my crit rate? Can anyone tell me? How is everything missing, by the way? I need someone to tell me. I need to check how much crit rate I have. I got like 3 crits out of 8 plunges. Did I forget an artifact or something? Okay, never mind. I hate this game. I don't even know what to say, man. Do I have C6 co-op? No, I have C0 co-op. Wait, does this guy have animal res? He does, right? But I mean, it's fine. I have Farazan on. Okay, where are my crits? It's fine. Even Kenki has animal res? No, he doesn't. Bro, fuck you. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be annoying, isn't it? Gonna be cringe, isn't he? This is not good. My RNG is like not with me today. It's fine. Please proc on the right enemy. Please proc on the right enemy. This is bad. Well, whatever. RNG guy doesn't like you today? Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. Fucking hell. Let's do it with the roles reversed. Agreed, agreed. Hey, wait, is my show even on the right build, though? I think so, right? Part of me thought the damage was low, but I didn't want to say anything because I was afraid I was just fucking delusional. So I didn't say anything. I should have said something. Alright, this should be better. This should help. Jesus Christ. What is wrong with me, man?
Let's get down to business.
Damn. It's crazy how much of a difference an attack stance can make.
Your coming was foretold. The eternal oasis at long last.
Fuck. Isn't Rhino on physical spear? I don't think so. That's Chevaliers. Oh, I didn't heal. Fuck. Oh, it's fine. I love using Arlecchino's charge attack as a way to dash towards the enemies. It's so fun. Okay. It'll have to do. Alright. Not bad, not bad. This is a pretty fun team to play. Raiden, my goat. Honestly, I'm appreciating Raiden more and more because of Shoulders. I might farm for a TOMEM set. Do I have one already? This. This. I guess I could have one, yeah. Interesting. He said yesterday he wouldn't swap raw flop. Yeah, I probably won't, but I'm thinking about it. How does Raiden with EM benefit this current team? The idea is you need an Electro character for Shovelers. Right, you're gonna need one anyways. So if you're gonna need an electro character anyways, what are your options, right? You can use, like, Beto, but you're not really gonna have any damage. You can use Yai, but it's omega fucking cringe to play. You can use Fischl. And you can use Raiden. Fischl will deal more damage. But you have to swap back to her every 12 seconds. Oz, you have to swap back to her if you want to move Oz. And your damage is single target. With Raiden, because you're going full EM, it's overload damage, so it's AoE. And you only have to swap to her once. Every 25 seconds. It's a lot more brain dead to play, and so I like it more. I don't think it's better, but it's a lot more comfy to play, so I like it more anyways. The overload damage is pretty laughable. I mean, it's not nothing. It's not great, but it's not nothing. CHIORI's full HP in this? Yeah. I mean, ideally you'd have her on the healing set, but I'm too lazy. I don't have a healing set. She's just on fucking whatever. With a beginner's protector. My goat. Honestly, I should put her on Halberd because it looks prettier. That's what I should do. Does she get her polar mode if you do this? She does. Okay. Is it worth going full EM Raiden for this, or will Emblem be fine? I mean, Emblem doesn't do anything. You don't burst on her. Why don't you level up the event weapon for CHIORI? What's the upside? Restoring energy doesn't matter because I don't care about her burst. HP doesn't matter because she's already capped. So why exactly would I do that? Fucking shove resources into something that does nothing for me? What's the point? No. Taffy Toffee. That is a team where you want to build Raiden on her traditional build. You definitely don't want to go EM. I don't know if there's anything else I want to do today. I think I'll do the Zajef CHIORI tomorrow. And today, we can raid Eeks. It's been a while. Everyone go say hi. Yeah, sorry for the short stream. But anyways. Go say hi.